Yo, what up? Welcome to the rising sun, son. My name is Nick, and today I'm going to teach you how to fucking crush it when you come to Japan. This is obviously more effective the younger you are. Unfortunately, if you're like 40 and you want to come to Japan and crush it, don't even think about it. Okay? This is for like 18-year-olds or like 20-year-olds. Japan is super set with ages. So if you want to get into a good company, you have to be like 23 or 22 or maybe 24. If you're 27, you're like an old man, you're out. But don't worry, there's other ways to do this. And one other way to crush it in Japan is just to never work with Japanese people. If you're super smart and can work for like Google, Apple, have your own company, you know what I mean? Like where you're just going to be around foreigners, you can make, millions of dollars in Japan and never have to deal with a Japanese company in your life. But some people might want to deal with a Japanese company. So I've kind of made a list, my extensive notes here, and I've been here for, as I said before, 15 years. And this is a follow what I say, not what I've done list. All right, number one, go to university first. I think university is a total waste of time if you're not like a mathematician or a scientist. It's total bullshit. I went to university and grad school, so I know. It's fun and you get to do a bunch of stuff, but it is a waste of time. But if you want to come to Japan, you can't do anything without a degree. You'll end up going home. I've had friends that were here and they didn't have a degree and it didn't work out well. The other thing you can do is if you're still a teenager, what you do is you come to Japan, go to a Japanese school to learn Japanese, which I'll get into later, and then go to a Japanese university. I think at this point, or you could go to like Sophia University. That's where I went. A very international, prestigious university in Japan. There's Waseda. I'm not sure if Keio has an English program. Temple, ICU. There's a bunch of universities here that you could just speak English the entire time. So if you're a good student in high school and want to go to an international university here, universities don't matter anymore. Everybody has a degree. So you might as well get one in Japan if you want to live in Japan. I know your parents might say, no, American universities are the best. That doesn't matter anymore. It's a bunch of bullshit, especially if you want to live in Japan. Okay, now, you have a university degree. If you know Japanese, just start immersing. If you want to immerse, watch Matt vs. Japan. He's on YouTube. You probably already know him. And follow Refold. You don't have to come to Japan to immerse in Japanese. The other thing you can do is come to Japan and you can go to a Japanese language school. Now, universities have language programs. So you could go to Jochi, Sophia University, and study Japanese for like 2 years, which is really good. Jochi is a good university. The problem is there's a bunch of other Western foreigners who speak English. So you're going to be around people that speak English all the time. If you go to a Japanese school, and off the top of my head, I would say Arc Academy, and I'm saying this because I went to it. I hope it's still around. It's 80% Chinese students, at least when I went, and like 18, whatever, I don't know. It's mostly Chinese students and Koreans. So nobody speaks English. The teachers do not speak any English. So you will be immersing yourself in Japanese while you learn Japanese, and you'll be pissed at all the Chinese and Korean students the whole time because they can learn Japanese way faster than you if you're from America or, Europe. If you're Chinese, dude, you're going to get good really fast because you already know kanji. So with me, I was in language school for about a year, a little over a year. So it took me about a year and a half to basically grasp the Japanese language. And I got good so fast because I was so jealous of the Chinese and Korean kids getting good really fast. So it's a good motivator. Then you pass whatever, N1, N2. I think to get into university, you need N2, whatever. Then you either go into university here, which you probably don't need to do, or you get a job. Now, you can get a job as an English teacher. That's no problem. There's a JET program and all that stuff. The problem with that is you'll probably end up doing that forever, unless you're smarter than I am. I didn't really do that because I knew I'd end up being an English teacher forever. So, let's say you get the N1, which you can definitely do in a couple years, if starting from zero. If you already have knowledge of Japanese, have immersed in Japanese, and are kind of fluent, you'll probably pass it in like, N2 in like 3 months, 6 months tops. You could probably do N1 in 6 months as well. So, you join a Japanese company. This is what I call the bitch period, because you're going to be a Japanese company's bitch. I was a Japanese company's bitch, And this is just a means to an end, everyone. You don't want to be a bitch forever. At some point, well, basically, you join the Japanese company and you can keep, putting in resumes for, they call it gaishiki, foreign companies. Because foreign companies pay way better. You don't have to work an insane amount of hours. You never really want to work at a Japanese company except to learn how Japanese people operate. And it's a really good skill to kind of turn on your Japanese self, but also you can always revert back to your, whatever, Swedish self if you need to. Your Finland self if you want to. I've always said this, always be able to switch, on and off. And you need to speak fluent Japanese. If you don't speak fluent Japanese, you're not going to do anything in Japan. So the first thing to do is obviously study. As I said, go to a language school. Then you go to a Japanese company. You can work there in your 20s. And you can also send resumes out to other gaishiki, foreign companies, if you ever want to make more money. But I think it's really good to become a Japanese company's bitch because you learn what Japanese people go through. You can relate to them more. You learn the culture. I learned everything in the Japanese company, and I'm still in it, and I'm not their bitch anymore. That's the amazing part. But, you can do this for a couple years in your 20s, and then you can, change jobs. Japanese people usually don't change jobs. They stay in the same company for a long time. It's kind of changing now. But always keep putting in resumes for a bunch of companies, and if you speak English and you speak Japanese, your choices of companies are going to go up. Or, you can start a YouTube channel. You can speak Japanese. You can do TV stuff like I did, although I wouldn't recommend it. Or you can try being a comedian or a YouTube star. The world is your oyster. Next, another thing I recommend is they say to get a Japanese girlfriend if you're a guy. I don't think that's a great idea because when you have a girlfriend, all you concentrate is on them. You think about Valentine's Day, I'm going to buy them flowers. Fuck that shit. No. You can have 5 Japanese girlfriends and 30 Japanese guy friends. If you're a dude, you want to speak like a Japanese guy. You want to speak like your girlfriend. So, I don't know. I know a lot of you guys probably don't agree with me on this point, but I would say date 5 girls at once and have a bunch of Japanese guy friends. If you're a girl now and if you're, say, like some foreign girl, doesn't matter what race, and you have basic hygiene and some sense of style, you'll easily get a Japanese boyfriend. Don't worry about that. It's harder for guys. I'm going to make another video because guys think, yeah, I can come to Japan and get hot chicks. Sorry, dude. You're not going to get shit. You're going to get the bottom of the barrel, my friend. You're going to get the girls that all the Japanese guys don't want. But you don't have to do that. You can become like a fucking Mac. You can ball. You can learn Japanese. Then you have a whole different, pond of fish, ocean of fish to choose from. Okay? So, don't really get a girlfriend, please. Because that will be your main focus. And that's not what you want to focus on when you're in your 20s, okay? Okay, so you've done that. You're working. And then this is basically the most important part of this entire video. If you have to remember one thing from this video, it's gain a skill, one other skill besides Japanese to the same level of your Japanese. So for me, I was basically doing comedy in Japanese. So my talking skills, as I said, I'm not the most fluent guy, but I do know how to communicate really well in Japanese and crack jokes and stuff. And that's opened up an entire, in my 30s, it worked out really well for me because I got all these jobs that weren't necessarily comedy jobs, but this comedy stand-up talking skill, kind of, business skill. It's just basically sales. Like fucking Jordan Belfort from The Wolf of Wall Street. So get a skill. It can be anything. It can be some weird biology shit. You know what I mean? I don't know. You know what I'm talking about? It can be YouTube. I'm trying to think of some, you know what I mean? There's a guy in Japan who's a fucking hot European guy. It actually pisses me off that he's here. I'm thinking, get the fuck out of Japan. You're making me look bad. But he learned Japanese gardening, just a normal Japanese gardener, and he speaks Japanese fluently. Girls fucking love him. He's huge. He's way more famous than me. Fuck that guy. I don't know his name. If you're watching this, go to another country because, my value is going down because you're here. So, learn one other skill besides Japanese, and if you put those 2 skills together, you will be a success. I fucking promise. That's basically the main thing I want you to remember. And if you do end up working for a company in Japan for the rest of your life, you're the type of guy that likes to work in an office, I would say work for a foreign company if possible, just because the pay is better and the environment's better, and it's just way easier. I mean, there's almost no reason to work in a Japanese company. There's super high paying Japanese companies. I won't say the name, but I do have friends that work there, and they're, you know, up till their 40s, man. They're worked to death. They look horrible. They get weird diseases. Their skin looks like shit. So if you can work at a foreign company, that's just my advice. Let me know if you guys want to, if you want me to talk about some theme. Is that the right word? I'm just saying, I'm translating Japanese to English. Tema. If there's anything you want me to talk about Japan, let me know in the comments. Please like and subscribe. Yeah, okay. Peace.